So in order to make your kaleidoscope, you will need to open your edited theme of the week photo into Photoshop. Simply do that by going into Lightroom first, choosing your edited photo and hitting Command E on the keyboard, and it will open in Photoshop for you. First thing we need to do is get the rectangular marquee tool. So over here on my toolbar, and we need to draw a perfect square. We do that by holding Shift. Now, wherever I draw this square, whatever is inside it is what I'm going to use for my kaleidoscope. So what I'm going to do is make sure that in my selection, that's what I'm going to keep. However, I need to delete the background. So I'm going to do that by inverting this. So holding Shift, Command and I, and then hitting delete. And then I'll get this checkered background. Make sure that if your checkered background isn't coming up, you might have the little lock panel on your layer here, which will probably give you a white or black background. The next step is to make our selection back onto our square. So we're going to hit Shift, Command and I again, and we're going to go up to Edit and Free Transform. Then we're going to go to the toolbar at the top here, and we're going to change the angle of this to 30 degrees. So you can see that's the center selection here. That's all we need to change. I'm going to just move this up a little bit just to make it easier for the next step. So the next step is probably the most complicated. It's drawing the triangle because we need a perfect triangle in order to make our kaleidoscope. So I'm going to go back to the rectangular marquee tool, and I start from the bottom point of this square, so the one that is lowest down. And I line up my mouse, make sure you're on the photo, not like that. So line up and rule that box. If you make the wrong selection like I just have, hit Command D. I want to make sure it's really lined up well, there we go. And we're going to draw that over to the left-hand side of the photo and then hit delete. Now I've got to get rid of the top part for this triangle. So again, I go to this corner, the rightmost corner, draw across, up, and hit delete. So now I've got my perfect triangle to use for my kaleidoscope. What I'm going to do now is duplicate this. So get rid of anything that's selected by hitting Command D, go over to the Layers panel, and I'm going to hit Duplicate Layer. So now I've got two to work with. Once I've duplicated that layer, I now need to flip this horizontally. So remaining on that layer, I'm going to go straight back up to Edit. I'm going to go to Transform this time and go down to Flip Horizontal. Now I can get the Move tool and move this across to line it up perfectly. I can use my keyboard keys to shift it across little bit by little bit to make sure that it all lines up, just like so. Once I've got those aligned, I then merge the layers together. So I highlight them in the Layers panel, like so, by holding Shift, right-click, and select Merge Layers. Now we're going to repeat the process. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. And this time I need to rotate this. So I go up to Edit, Free Transform, and I'm going to rotate, so remember going up to the angle selection, I'm going to rotate this 60 degrees. Then I can use my Move tool to now move this into position. And again, use my arrow keys to get it perfectly aligned. Now I've got two. So again, I merge them together. Once I've got them merged, I might just move this up a little bit. I'm going to duplicate this. And this time when I rotate, so by going to Edit, Free Transform, I'm going to make the angle 120. Go back to the Move tool and move my photo down to align. straighten it, the alignment with my keyboard keys. Last but not least, you can't merge these layers because obviously the last section that we need is smaller. So just duplicate the current layer and then you're going to rotate it again 120 degrees. So free transform, 120. So the first rotation is 30, second rotation is 60, third rotation is 120, and the last rotation is also 120. And you'll see now that when I have that aligned, I have now got my kaleidoscope, well, one of them, my first pattern, all ready to go. So I'm now going to merge all these layers together into one. And now I'm ready to go on to the second part of the video.